there?
Oh.
All right, we're here. I can't see, the light's too I've got David with me. There he is. We're walking down to Springer's Point. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm a little out of practice. But we're gonna walk to Springer's Point. We're stopping here at one of the houses they raised, and I just think it's super cute. It's great that they're raising it, but I think it's cute because they've got the front porch rockers and the flowers still there. So I'm gonna turn you around and we're gonna walk all the way out to Springer's Point. It's very windy, so I apologize for the loud noise here. So I'm turn you around, and obviously that's not a very good view, nor is that. So we're gonna go, whoo! So there is Rachel's house up on stilts, and
Wind's rocking the rocking.
like either that or a ghost. So yeah, so that's Rachel's house, and hopefully they'll get the pilings and be able to put it back down before too long. So walking down Lighthouse Road, it's been a while since I've been out and about, and David and I just needed a good walk, and we were going to go to the beach, but it's so windy we decided to just to go to Springer's Point instead. It's been a while since I've been there. So William Nathan is getting a new porch railing on. He said he had a few rotted boards there on his porch. So
Porch has been painted too.
yeah, he's painted it, fixed it up. Hey. And I always love Lida Frida's house there. Usually she's sitting out on the porch, but she got a whole bunch of people to help her put that back together. That was very, very wet.
That's a great
Yeah, they got a nice new fence and potted plants.
Taking notes.
Yeah, we're looking at everybody's architecture and paint colors and everything now. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. But I think we've narrowed it down to a kind of slate gray blue for our exterior paint, I think. And still working on figuring out what kind of fence or railings or everything that we want. And it's getting a little warm. I got my windbreaker on because I thought it was going to be more windy out here than it is. Oh, look at this. You don't get to see the lighthouse very often like that with the house. Usually there's a house there. Sorry.
Are they going to raise this house?
Trudy's on the list to getting it raised, but
They got a
probably
paint job too.
yeah. It's looking good. The fences around here still are getting fixed. They still kind of look a little roller coastery. This is a pretty fence too here.
Yeah, that's
And-
like the same sort of stuff.
Yeah. And they've raised their house up pretty high there.
There, you want to be
Hi.
on the live?
I say hi to Jen. Jen Kidwell. She's got Airbnb down next to Springer's Point. But when are you starting your rentals? At least July. Yeah, those are kind of important. Need that, but you got walls. Got walls. That's good. Well, stop by later if you want to stop by and say hello.
Yes, we got soup.
Excellent.
Come on by for soup. All right.
We got to see the lighthouse, so there's the lighthouse. Always lovely. We're not going to stop in front of the lighthouse. And I apologize. It's so bright out here today, I can't see any of the comments that are coming through. So I'm going to have to answer any comments afterwards. And if I've missed something that somebody wanted to see, I'm really sorry. It's been so overcast the last few days and rainy and whatnot. And now it's so bright, I really can't see. I can hardly even see that it's facing the correct way. So I hope you guys aren't getting all pictures of the sky.
There's somebody who knows how to operate one of those things. It's fast.
It is fast. That's where a house was. It looks like they're filling it in. Feels like out of Cars or something. Some of the little, what was the name of the critter in Cars that zipped along? The movie Cars? No, not Lightning McQueen. Luigi or one of those.
You're looking good.
This is down where Owen's Veggies used to be. Owen and Della. And Della hasn't had her shop in a while. But she's got the cutest smile. We just love Della. And Owen, her...
Awesome fig trees, too.
Awesome fig trees, yes. So that was down here in Monroe's truck and where Della's Walkaround Nursery and Gifts is. But she hasn't been able to open it lately. And her house got flooded, so they're still working on her, getting her back in there. And this house over here, the OPS, Ocracoke Preservation Society Museum, purchased a number of years ago. It was about to fall down. We have a Save an Old House Fund. Geraldine Beveridge bequests money to Ocracoke Preservation Society with the intent to save island structures. So we bought this, put restrictions on it, and sold it to people who would restore it. So they did a very nice job.
Did it get any water?
No, I don't think it got any water. It would have, because it used to be down closer to the ground. It probably would have been destroyed by now. And of course, I've walked past this area, but there was an old house here and a trailer here. Those are now gone. And Elizabeth Parsons' shop back behind that oleander there. Elizabeth Parsons was Della's sister, and she had a shop back there. Was married to Roy Parsons, who was world famous in these here parts.
Yep.
For yodeling. And
for stories of his adventures
stories,
off the island.
Yes.
Incredible.
We miss Roy and Elizabeth. We miss them both. They were sweet, sweet folks.
Roy used to sing with the Ocracoke Opry, and I think he always dreamed of being on the Grand Old Opry. And so one year, Gary Mitchell and Sunday Horn and a bunch of folks, Marcy Brenner, and they all, we all knew George Hamilton IV, who was frequently on Grand Old Opry because he would come to Ocracoke, and so arranged to fly Roy out to the Grand Old Opry, and I think the plane routed through, they probably left out of Norfolk and may have routed through DC or someplace like that before it swung west. And the logic of that, for folks who are familiar with going on airplane rides, you understand that they're routing according to numbers. But for Roy, he thought that perhaps it was that the plane had to land and get turned around so that it could aim the right direction.
Aww. Bless his heart.
And they asked Roy, this is probably the first time that you've been on a flight. And he said, oh, no, I was on a flight one time before. He said, I drove down to Hatteras and I was trying to get to the island. And so I contacted up with a fellow who ran a little, sort of just ran supplies over. And
he was actually a stunt pilot.
A stunt pilot, yep. And
Bill Cochran.
So he arranged to get a ride with this fellow over, and they filled it up and they took off. And when they get close to Ocracoke, close to the village, Bill Cochran told Roy that because the tide was so high, normally they would land on more solid flat beach, but they didn't have that. So he said, well, you'll just have to, what we'll do is I'll swoop down low and I'll just kind of taxi, but I'm not going to stop. And you just throw your bags out and jump out. And so that's what he did. The plane was still rolling. He just threw everything out and tumbled out. And then the plane gunned it and took off.
We told Roy that he wasn't Grand Old Opry. They'd actually stop the plane and let him out. We might have lost the connections. If we did, it should have recorded it, and you'll have to listen to the whole story later. I'm not really sure. So here we are at Springer's Point, and as you can see, there are little signs everywhere telling you not to park here or leave your bikes out here. And they've got stumps here in front of the benches. People can wait here for people to pick them up, but please don't park here. It really clogs things up, and it makes your experience unpleasant if you interact with the locals who are unhappy with you parking here as well. And for you, it feels like just one time, but for the people who live around here, it happens lots of times. So you can park for donation down at the Assembly of God Church, or it's now called the Life Saving Church. You can hire a taxi to come drop you off. And here,
if you ride bikes in, there is bike parking that's further.
Yes, we'll stop.
Further in here.
Yes, this is the Springer's Point Walk, Sandy. I can see it now. So this is Jen, who we talked to earlier. This is her Airbnb. She's got walls, but no bathroom or kitchen yet. And that little white building in the background. Hi, Jen! We're going down to Springer's Point. We'll have to do that when you get all done up, we'll come in. Okay, but we're telling about it right now. But this was her grandma's house. And so she was able to buy it a number of years ago and fix it up. She's got a great oak tree in here, great for climbing if you got kids. I don't know. I assume she allows kids in this house. I don't know. But she did get water. So, we're waiting here just a minute. I try not to get too many people who haven't given permission on there. So we've had some people on bikes go by, and we're going to let them go take a little jaunt ahead. But these are the old Ocracoke roses too. These are the ones like, whoops, at my dad's house. They are beautiful when they come out, but they last just a short period of time. But they're really, really pretty when they come out. And they've really cleaned this area up a lot. This was really torn up by the storm. The water just came pouring through here. So here we go. We're going to walk down. Got some oleanders here and a nice fig tree. Atticus isn't barking at us today. Sometimes he barks to say hello. Oh, sorry, Jen. Did we abandon you? All right. And the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust just was able to purchase more property, so they actually have even more space now. There was an old, kind of decrepit trailer back here that was just purchased and torn down. It was really more of a rat home than anything else at that point. And they do lock it up at dusk. So this is where you can park your bikes. They've got one right outside the gate too. What did you do? Going down the path. It's a beautiful little path down here. And there is a grave site down here. The history of Springer's Point is that it used to be called Pilot Town for a while, because this is where the original village was. Down here when there were ships pilots that lived on the island. And then it became known as Howard's Point, actually, after a while, because the Howards owned it for a while. And then one of the last owners was Mr. Springer, and he had a house down here. And his house was the last one that fell down. It fell down in the 1940s. My dad still just barely remembers the remnants of it being here. And that's how, whoops, little frog hopped across. That's how the area got its name. The last resident down here was Mr. Springer. So that's how it got Springer's Point. And then Sam Jones purchased it. And the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust was able to purchase it from some of the Sam Jones heirs and turn it into a coastal reserve. And Sam is buried down here. And maybe we should have a little prize, do you think? I know a lot of people on here know, but we can take like we can do a random. So whoever well, I can't do this for everybody, but if you can guess who Sam is buried with and get it correct, I'll pick a random number of the correct responses, and I'll send you an Ocracoke Scotch bonnet. How's that? So not everybody's going to get a prize, just a random number. I haven't even picked the number. We got to see how many correct responses we get. Who is buried with Sam Jones down here? And I guess I can't tell you until I figure out how many responses there are now. I'll just show you the site, and then I'll post a link that my dad wrote about Sam Jones later on. And then I will comment under your name. And when I comment under your name, I'll give an email address so that you can send me your mailing address so that I can send the Scotch bonnet to whoever is the winner. Does that sound like a good deal? I see some people are already answering. Now, no cheating. If you haven't answered already, you can't look at the comments already. We got a few correct answers already here. I love the marshes. So I will, eventually when I get back home, I will respond to whoever is the winner. And I'm just going to pick a random number and count. And this is a great photo op here. If you have family or want to do a family portrait, this is a great spot because you can sit up on the branches or lean around the trees. We get a lot of seniors, high school seniors, getting their picture taken there, or family portraits there. And you do see snakes around here sometimes. So David's my lookout. He's looking for snakes for me, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, look, the tide's up pretty high. We got a lot of, I don't know if it's from the rain.
This has cleared out a lot since this storm.
Well, I think a lot of things have fallen over. I don't know. But it's somewhere back in there is Daniel Tolson's grave. And he is one of the only folks I know who is buried around here. There are probably lots of people buried here because of Springer's Point being Pilot Town, but we just don't know where they are. Originally, a lot of the markers were wood, and they've probably rotted away at this point, lost to history. So it's also kind of creepy, I think, to walk down here at night. Well, it's closed after dusk, but even at dusk, it gets a little spooky sometimes. Oh, and I guess I need to, because I can't keep going back and looking at the correct answers, it has to be, you have to comment during the live for who's buried with Sam Jones. So I'm going to count just the people who commented while we were going live. And for those of you who've watched it afterwards, I'm sorry, but we'll do another...
Gotta come get your own shells.
Contest, that's right. Come get your own shells. And we'll do another contest later. Ooh, and is this a mulberry bush? Mulberry tree?
I don't know. We could go around it and find out. I just got a look from my wife. You didn't get to see it.
Here we go around the mulberry bush. I think it's a mulberry tree, but I don't see any mulberries on it. Yep, there's one. You see the mulberry in there? It must not get a lot of sun, so I don't know if you can see that. We've got some across the way in the graveyard, and I promised Leanne I would pick the mulberries, and I haven't yet, but I did eat a couple of them today. Is that legal? To promise them to somebody, but then eat them myself?
I know nothing about mulberries. So.
Lachlan ate one today.
Right? Are they like raspberries or blackberries?
Kind of. So here's a little feeding station for the birds. Usually they've got some bird feed around. I don't see it. And let's see. You see, where are we?
Wrong way.
Let's go in the wrong direction. The raccoon.
Carved by
There's
Len
a raccoon.
Skinner.
He's starting to get eaten by the ants, it appears, but there is lots of poison ivy back here.
And those berries are coming ripe too, so if you want to, never mind.
Don't listen to anything David says. So here we go. We're going to go this direction, and I'm going to walk you back around, and then I'm going to go out and sit on the beach for a little while. So here we have Sam Jones's grave. And there's a little hint there of who's buried with Sam Jones, who was buried September 27th, 1977. And if you've read the story about the rug from my dad's house after the flood, that rug came from Sam Jones. And if you've done our ghost walk, this cistern or well here has a little story there, but I'm not going to tell it right now. I will try to tell it eventually. And yeah, I don't know that I've been back here really since the storm.
They changed the path.
No, this is the same path. They've just made it more. So lots of trees down. They've cut up. There's some dead trees around. And somewhere back here, there's a pile of bricks left over. Oh, and you see the fig tree back in there? I don't know if you can see it. It's one of the oldest, or Chester says it's one of the oldest fig trees on the island. It's way back in there by the cedar tree that's got the ivy growing up it.
You know what kind it is?
I don't. It doesn't get a lot of sun, so it probably doesn't produce a lot of fruit right now.
Did Chester have a cutting from it?
I don't know, probably. Looks like another mulberry tree back here. And somewhere over here was where there were a whole bunch of bricks left over. But they've been covered up, I believe, now by the vines. So can't you imagine? This is where Blackbeard hung out, where he was killed right off of Teach's Hole is the water part of Springer's Point. So you can imagine him camping in here. And Chester actually has some, and I think they were salvaged, some old pewter plates, real simple looking pewter plates that date from, they've been dated to the time of Blackbeard. And so I don't know if they came off Blackbeard's ship, but it's kind of cool that they were found out here and are from that time period. So this wonderful old oak has gotten knocked over a little bit by the storm. Its tree limb there has helped root it. It probably would have fallen completely over if it hadn't been for that tree limb there. One of the best spots to watch the sunset. I see a ferry out there getting ready to come in. Lost a little bit of beach, I think, a little bit of grass. I'm going to be quiet and let you listen to the lapping of the waves if the wind doesn't kick in. Yeah, I think because there are folks fishing down there, we don't want to interrupt. We're just going to end it here. The wind's picking up, so I'm not going to leave it. I'll check the responses when I get home, and we'll pick a winner from the folks who guessed the correct answer during, or knew the correct answer during the walk. And whoever the winner is, I'll give you my email, and you can email me your mailing address. I don't want you to have to put it, out for everybody to see. You can email it to me, and I will send you whoever the winner is a Scotch bonnet. Let you look at Portsmouth Island, and I'll let you listen to the waves just a little bit, and we're going to shut it off. All right? So thank you guys for joining us. Hope you have a lovely evening, and